Hello everyone, welcome back to some more Kerbal Space Program. Today you're gonna get a 40-minute video, which is quite long. I've spent about 3.5 hours getting footage and all that. It's been a bit of a busy day, as you can well imagine. You're watching a sped up video right now. I have 3.5 hours of gameplay, like 3 hours of video. It's all compressed down into like 40 minutes. Got some live recorded clips in there as well, but yeah, I spent long trying to get this all on the orbit, rendezvousing, everything. I recorded most of it. I had to do some double takes of my shuttle docking and sending it back to Kerbin because I wasn't quite right with the entry angle. But aside from that, yeah, you're gonna have future me, as in I've done all the editing. All I need to do is talk over this video now. And in some parts of the video you'll be getting live me as well, because I did some recording in between to provide some commentary on things that happened. Right now we are launching up the first engine module and we're transferring some of its liquid fuel and oxidizer to try and make the most of our rockets. There we go, we're throwing them away. And we have this here now. It's got 7 nuclear engines, which only take up liquid fuel, so we have a bunch of extra liquid fuel tanks on the module itself. We're trying to make sure that we get as small of an intercept as possible. Now it's gonna take a lot of time to get all these modules in itself docked, which is why you're watching this at 5 times speed. And don't worry, instead of being like super loud, I know that the shuttle re-entry is very loud because of the heat reacting to the spacecraft and the atmosphere, etc. It sounded like a demon screaming at like 4 times speed, so I've turned the audio to like 15 decibels down on all the sped up parts, so that you won't get deafened by anything like that. Which I think is a very friendly idea. Anyway, you're looking at the engine module, which has a wing, because every spacecraft that is worth its weight has to have a cool looking wing on the side. We're going to be launching another one of these in a moment after this. And we'll have 2 of them, like 1 on every side, which is why there's 4 docking ports on the core module. 2 of them for each craft. Now, in the past, they didn't really seem to work. Like, having multiple docking ports wouldn't really help you. But now, it definitely looks fixed, because, spoilers for future in the video, the engine modules are basically attached at the same angle, leading me to believe that both the magnetic clamps now have the right like magnetic force, instead of only one port having magnetic port while the rest can be wildly off. So I'm kind of pleased with how that resulted in the end. Now there's going to be bits of this video that's going to be a bit dark to watch. That's because I don't really want to add up all the bloom, etc. Basically it's already sped up 4 times. And we do have some lights on modules. Like, the more engine modules we'll get, the more lights we'll have. For now it's going to be a bit bare bones, and we're going to be spending I'm going to be spending quite a bit of minutes here just taking it slow, because I've designed these modules deliberately to be asynchronous in its RCS. They only have them on the side that faces away from the craft itself, so to be more efficient with like pointing away from the center of mass and sort of that. Basically, the closer you are to the center of mass, the less effective your RCS thrusters are. And the core itself is actually a bit unbalanced, with one RCS like near the front of the ship where the lander goes. That actually has the RCS thrust on the core module being a bit out of whack, which leads me to mostly use RCS on the engine module, to varying effects of course. Although thankfully in the end everything went okay. I think this is the part where we're about to get close to docking onto the first module. We're trying to wiggle around with the core right now. We do have an engine on the back right now, but trust me, we're going to get rid of that at some point and you'll love it. I certainly loved it. Now the core module doesn't actually have any solar panels on it. It's pretty sleek. But the engine module comes attached with 2 solar panels, a couple of radiators just in case, and some lights, which always helps. 2 docking ports with some electric banks, some batteries. So they can store quite a bit of electric power, which is good. They also come with a probe, so our ship can basically maneuver anywhere we want to with the help of 2 AI cores actually. And later on we'll be sending up a refinery module that has basically tons of batteries in it. So there's no problem about running out of charge or anything. It'll be wonderful. But yeah, we are getting close to docking now. I had to do this really slowly and really carefully. I was tapping the buttons a lot, which you can probably see. Actually, it sped up like so fast. This current clip is running at like 4 times speed. You can't see some of the puffs, but there is definitely more small presses of the button and more puffs of RCS. Just small puffs to try, because it's all off balance, of course. So I'm trying to not overdo it so that we fly off somewhere. And there we go, we're getting close, and there we go, we have attached the first module, and as you can see, that is the angle at which it chose to attach. And we are off right away with another module launched into space. So this launch is gonna basically go just like the previous one, although I would like to show them all, just because, well, I see it as more of a compilation video of me spending like 3.5 hours to build one awesome spacecraft. It's almost like From the Depths, where I spent 40 hours to build a single battleship, although I didn't do that on camera because that was way before I started the YouTube channel back up again. Some interesting facts about this, like, some of the rendezvous and launches were like perfectly on time, and there were others like this one, as you can see on the screen right now, where we just completely missed the core and we have to spend like a good 5 or 10 minutes in space just to reorient ourselves and make sure that we actually have a good intercept. So, you know, it's definitely been good rendezvous practice, I'll tell you that much. Dear Lord. It has been insane. Some things like the shuttle, they were easy to dock. The refinery module, as you'll see later in the video, that's going to be really easy to dock, and I'm really proud of that docking. I'm really glad I got that on camera. It went so smooth, as compared to like these first 2 dockings, which were both unbalanced and it took a lot of time. It has been good training, I'll say that much. If you ever want to get good with like rendezvous, assign yourself a goal of just making a big ship, you know, something like that, or just dock a few things together in space. I don't care if you use cheats on it or not, because you can always just play their own stuff. Like, as long as you're playing single player and you cheat, you know, that's fine, you're not affecting anyone. And if it helps you train like rendezvous, for example, if you don't bring enough RCS and you're like, crap, I can't do my docking now. In that case, why not just turn on cheats, you know, get the practice. Practice makes perfect. Next time you'll be like, okay, now I've docked them all, now I can revert, and then I can try it again. I'll send it up with more RCS, etc. And you'll have learned a good lesson, like this design needs more RCS. Which is fine. It's a nice way of learning. And failure can be fun in Kerbal. Just like earlier when you saw my shuttle nearly crash, I screwed the landing up twice almost. But we recovered and everything was fine. It was a lot of fun, even for someone like me who already spent like a good couple of hundred hours in the game. It's been fun to just nearly crash my shuttle and just have to do it all over again, you know? And just laugh at those moments like, oh god, this could have gone terribly wrong, or like laugh at something that went great. We have an instance in the video coming up later where I tried to dock the new shuttle, the new lander, not the shuttle, the lander, that I specifically designed for this mission. And I don't want to spoil what happens, but it is an absolutely awesome moment of Kerbal engineering at its finest. I have to improvise to fix it, because, you know, it doesn't fit in the bloody cargo bay. What are we gonna do? Well, you'll see what I did and what I end up doing. I don't want to spoil it because it is an amazing thing, and it's like one of the highlights of recording all of this for me. I'm really glad that I just spent 3.5 hours. I decided, you know, screw it. I'm gonna be uploading this video late. That's something I accept. I am gonna make a product today that I'm proud of, and I'm just sitting here now recording the commentary for it and looking back, and I'm like, yep, I achieved something, you know, just like From the Depths with my giant battleship. I had to spend a lot of time, but in the end I can look back and say, hey, that was worth all the time I spent on it. And I hope you guys will like this video, because I certainly loved it. And there's gonna be some moments here that just make me crack up. I nearly cried from laughter at some point in this video. It has to do with the lander. Again, I don't want to tease you guys too much with it, because it just feels cruel. And it's not like there's nothing else exciting in this video happening. Like, I am very proud that all these rendezvous and dockings eventually worked out. Because this is a massive undertaking. I've sent up like at least 350 or like 400 parts to this craft. Maybe even 500, who knows. I'm gonna have to do a part count at some point. Wait, I can actually look that up. That's great, the game does it for me. I actually also sent up things like extra struts that we can attach, and which we will do in the next video, because, well, I just spent 3.5 hours combining this ship. The episode is going to be late, so I'm going to have to get it out now, so I didn't have time to attach any struts to the outside of the ship. That will be done next episode. We'll make it look even better, we'll attach some things. Bill is going to do some more engineering. He already does a fair share in this video. With, like, blowing some stuff up. Which, I don't want to tease too much, but we're going to get to blow stuff up with some C4. Or rather, K4, as it is known in the Kerbal Inventory System mod. Yeah, it's going to be fun. But first, yep, we are about to dock the second engine module. We retract that, just to see if it works. There we go. Just making sure that all the stages are, like, synchronized. And here's the shuttle. We're going to be sending the shuttle up because we took a bunch of contracts for tourists. In honor of Valentina on the maiden voyage of this beautiful ship, which I will not yet spoil the name of, we are going to take some tourists around. Now, most of these tourists that we're sending up in the first wave are going to be people that want to fly by Minmus. Which is fine, you know. It's gonna be like 3 people that are like exclusively like, I wanna fly by Minmus. One person is like, I wanna fly by and land on the moon, I believe, but most of them are like, yeah, let's do a flyby of Minmus. So we're gonna do a simple like grand tour of the Kerbin system. We're not gonna land anyone on anywhere, we're just gonna fly them out there and have them look at it. Now we will have to keep an eye open because at some point in this video I will be taking over manually with the live commentary, so that'll be something to look forward to. I do have some interesting things to mention. Like, for example, the amount of funds. You know, we're playing in career mode. This all costs money. The shuttle, it's probably the cheapest, because the shuttle itself only costs 50k, which is taking a look out there with our tourists. Like, yay, we're in a small confined space with 3 other people. And then we have a scientist in the cockpit riding shotgun. Why? Because we're going to be sending a lab up with the refinery module. We're going to be going around the space, around the systems, so obviously we need to include some sciences. God, I love the design of the shuttle. It looks so beautiful. I did some, like, revamping to it. I did some testing, like the atmosphere. It's all fine. You just need to come in a bit shallower than I did. The air brakes during re-entry, they're definitely useful, but forgetting them isn't that big a deal, provided you just flare the craft at like a 45 angle with your angle of entry, so that basically you use your entire craft to slow down instead of just air brakes. So I didn't screw the landing, I didn't screw the earlier re-entry up as much as I thought I did. Which is nice, you know, as long as you can walk away from it, it's a good landing, etc. And that's precisely what happened. So we're just waiting now, because we launched a little bit ahead, and we're gonna have to play catch up for a while, so we're in a bigger orbit right now. And we're just tuning our orbit now. There we go. We're getting to our interception. Things will be lovely. Then we just need to go around one more orbit. Now I do have to say that the picture of the shuttle actually docking and flying away from the ship, it's gonna be beautiful. You could probably already tell on the screen what I'm gonna name the ship, but I'm gonna wait until the end of the video to name drop it. It's not like we're building a secret spacecraft in orbit or anything, guys. Trust me, I'm doing nothing of the sort. Oh well, at least this craft is very easy to turn around and to dock with, etc. It does fine in like 100 to 100 kilometer orbit. Other than that, no, you're gonna need a bigger like booster to get it up into space first. Or, you know, make a bigger version, put some nuclear engines on there, that might work. I might do that at some point. But yeah, here we are coming up. We're gonna have to slow ourselves down. Then we're gonna switch and we're gonna open the shielded docking port on the front because it looks like a nose, right? It has to look aerodynamic. It has to look good. Right, so very simple. This craft is very easy to control with like RCS and the likes. We just point ourselves retrograde. Unfortunately, our pilot isn't that good. She's only like she's only level 1, so she can't like point at the target the way a probe can. But there we go. We had a very easy time getting to dock on there. We're transferring some crew. I also brought up some tools for Bill because we forgot to send some tools up when I sent out all the crew. So we're going to be flying over there. We are going to be giving Bill his tools. And then I think we might want to be... Yep, there we go. We're giving Bill some tacos, some beer, a guitar to play, a ghetto blaster, and some more EVA canisters. That's it. Kudos to Kerbal Inventory System for all of that stuff. So, now we're gonna go ahead and with this beautiful picture of the shuttle attaching and detaching from the craft, it just looks beautiful. Look at that angle. It was a beautiful shot in my opinion. It was just, wow. I had to stay flying like this for a while, just to get that picture, you know, just to get that for you people. I loved it. It looked so beautiful. Now, in the background, you're going to be hearing a quote-unquote demon shout in a minute when we meet the atmosphere and it tries to resist us, so, you know, don't get startled by that or anything. It's not that bad because I turned down the audio gain by like 15 decibels. So it shouldn't be overpowering my voice or anything. I will probably fall into laughter though. There we go, we're deploying the air brakes because it never hurts to deploy the air brakes. And here we go. The atmosphere is now shouting at us. It's trying to resist. Thankfully, I've gotten a lot better with planning these re-entries. It also helps that this is like the 4th take, and I'm a lot more careful as well. So the craft doesn't quite burn up. We have no explosions. Everything's wonderful. I was thinking for a second, like, should I use the air brakes? And then I'm like, nope. The whole craft itself still has more surface area, etc. I put on the engines for a minute before I realized, like, hey, I should turn these air brakes off so that I can just glide in. There we go. I have realized it roughly by now. Yeah, there we go. And we're just gliding over the sea. We're going to get a very smooth landing over at the Kerbal Space Center. We're doing a little twist for fun. And there we go. This is a nice shuttle, but the downside is that it's not very powerful in the atmosphere. So you are very reliant on detaching right as you get the perfect opportunities to basically kill your orbit, turn it into a suborbital trajectory, and then basically time it that you enter like 50, 45 kilometers height above the mountain range, let's say that. Oh, there we come in for landing. It looks good. The speed is nice, but I eventually mess up when I try to steer. Thankfully, it's nothing too severe. We already slowed down quite a bit, and there we go, safe and sound. Next up, we are launching the lander. We actually control this rocket through a probe mounted above the orange fuel tank. Otherwise it would fall around and collapse. Besides, our pilot is sitting upside down, so it wouldn't be very helpful to us. There we go. We are sending up the... I've lost count of how many modules we've sent up in total. It's insane. We've got the 2 engine modules, we've got the core module, we've got the lander module. That's 4 already. Then we're going to send another 5th one. We've got the shuttle. That's a total of like 6 modules. And I have space for more. There is another docking port on the back. And on the front. Like, I'm going to probably use this ship to tow some... Or push, rather. Push some rovers. Maybe some base compartments. To Duna. Because why the hell not? We'd have to attach some things to it. But yeah, there we go. That is the... that's the lander. It's got a bit of an interesting design. I think Past Me will also bring that up at some point. We temporarily use Action Group 5, which is set to deploy the solar panels and the drills, so that we can both drill... Well, I mean, it only toggles them, it doesn't actually turn the drills on, but it does, like, make sure that we get electricity. So that way, I don't have to, like, activate everything manually. This whole ship... Except for like the engines on the lander, I probably should have used some action groups for them. Aside from all of that, I have made excellent use of action groups in my opinion. So there is action group 1, which opens the docking, the cargo bay doors on the core module. We have action group 2, which activates all the solar panels on the engine modules. We have action group 3, that's where I assign all my radiators to, so that if we are converting any fuel, or if we're doing an interplanetary burn, like we're going to transfer to Duna, I want to make sure that my nuclear engines don't overheat and explode, so we activate the radiators then. Engine group 4, I believe, is... I'm not entirely sure what it is, actually. Well, if I lost track of it, it probably isn't all that important. I think engine group 5, action group 5 is actually deploying the mining drills and the solar panels on the lander, and then engine group 6 is toggling surface and asteroid harvester so that the drills go on and off, etc. So yeah, pretty interesting in my opinion. And if you dock things together, the action groups merge, etc., so they stay. So for example, the 2 engine modules, they weren't officially part of the core module, but now that they are docked to it, I can still just control from the core module and be like, hey, toggle solar panels. And the solar panels will just go up. That doesn't provide any problems whatsoever. And it is a good, it's a good thing to keep in mind. Like, hey, you can merge action groups, so just set everything up like solar panels in the same action group number and everything should be fine. Pro tip there. We are now coming up on the spaceship itself, the core, with the lander. And it's going to take a bit of fiddling. Mostly because at some point we run out of electric charge. So I have to compensate for that with RCS. It was interesting, I'm not gonna lie. It turned out okay, thankfully, but... yeah, because we got close, I decided to retract all the solar panels. You'll see that in a minute. And then I'm like, oh crap, I'm not burning the engines anymore because we've nearly ran out of fuel. We are gonna have a problem with our docking. See, there we go. There go the solar panels. And I don't yet realize that this is slowly gonna doom us. Because of course we are twisting and twirling around it quite a bit. And it does take up a lot of electric charge. You know, it's gonna take up a lot of charge. And if we don't have our solar panels out, and especially now we're approaching the dark side of the planet, it's gonna cost us. When I actually run out of charge, it is too late to get it back. And here we're still burning our engines a little bit. We're switching to RCS mostly, because this has plenty of RCS. I'll explain later. Like, I think Past Me does a good explanation of how the lander is designed, parts-wise. And like, why it looks so funny, and why I had a special way of launching it. It'll all become apparent once the docking actually is underway. So we're coming up on the cargo bay now. So we're going to show you said cargo bay. It deploys out beautifully. But we're going to come across one problem at some point. And this is about to show us where that beautiful Kerbal engineering is going to come in useful. Thankfully the cargo bay is well lit. There's beautiful lighting. I think it might be because I have the lights on in the cockpit itself, but I'm not entirely sure. So, attempt number 1 and we get flung off. It should have rang some alarm bells within me, but it actually didn't. And right about here's the point. Yep, I just noticed we are out of electric charge. So we're gonna have to compensate for that using RCS. Alright, here we come, and we're stuck. It doesn't fit. I try to flip it and it's like, nope, it doesn't want to fit. So, what do? Kerbal engineering, we just jam it in. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, time for a little bit of live gameplay. This is right after when I docked the lander with some ingenious Kerbal engineering, if I do say so myself. Like, seriously, that was perfect. I don't know why, but it suddenly fits now. Let's quickly get Bill out. I did get Bill some tools. During the meanwhile, he's got some He's got a crate of beer, he's got some tacos, some K4, which we'll be using in a second, EVA canisters, a ghetto blaster, which actually plays music, which I think might be copyrighted, so I'm not gonna demonstrate that. Might be able to... Can you play that? Well, we could play some guitar music. Ground control to Major Tom. Now, the real reason why we're here is... Well, we're not going to do some maintenance on this stuff just yet. Oh boy, you look battered and bruised. The real reason why we're here... We're going to have Bill out here. I'm going to use some of that... K10. I'm not trying to remove the helmet, I'm trying to attach some K4 to this here. How do we use you? Equipment slot left hand. Remember, you can set explosive by clicking on the part? I don't know, I've never used K4. Right clicking on the part. So do we need to be lower then? Because what I want to try and do is... We have this engine here. And we want to place a module here. The refinery. What I'm trying to do is make it so that we can... detach this. Literally just blow it up with K4. What I think we might have to do is... Oh no, wait. We can... ignore, so that we can go back. Okay. There we go. That wasn't so hard. Now we have a brick of K4 on there. What we're gonna do next is close his inventory. I'm gonna decouple the node. We're gonna make sure that Bill stays with it for a while. I'm gonna attach the K4. And set it on a timer. And eventually we'll blow the crap out of it. It'll be okay, and we're not gonna have any debris like this. We'll set the timer to 20, we'll set the explosive radius to 5 or 6. We now have 30 seconds to get as far away as we can, but we don't really need to get as far away as we can. It's still ticking in the background, you can probably still hear it. It's gonna get a little hard now that we have some music playing. Let's quickly go and check the lander while we're here. Yeah, it seems to fit now. We'll probably have to pull some magic to get it out. Well, that takes care of that problem. Let's quickly inspect the craft to see if we've taken any damage where we don't want any. An engine count, etc. Right side seems to be fully intact. 7 nuclear engines. Left side is intact. 7 nuclear engines. Alright, we just detached and demolished a module. Sweet. Now what I will probably do at some point is remodel this lander and send one back. One that can preferably fit inside. I think it's down to the heavy lander legs over there. But yeah, it's a bit of an ingenious design in that it has a grabber on the belly, on the underside, and an RCS tank, which we have connected radiator panels to, and a drill-o-matic drill. And we have 8 ore tanks along the side, capable of carrying 600 ore, which is roughly enough to fill the tank of that lander back up. So if we just park the ship close to an asteroid and then, I don't know, send it out a couple of times, should be good. But yeah, we might want to think about maybe adding a more permanent refinery ship at the back. For now, we're just going to send one refinery up with some radiators to make sure that it doesn't overheat. And then that'll be the end of this episode, basically. and this giant construction project. I'll be right back with one more sped up clip. Okay, so here's the refinery module, and you're talking to future me again. It was quite fun, just, you know, doing things, blowing that module up. And here we see, I have actually attached a surface scanner to this refinery module. I've also added the best antenna that money can buy in this game. It has like the best bandwidth, can send like 20 megabits per second. Which is useful for like transferring science later on. I try to mess around a bit with the scanner, but we're gonna have to be in a polar orbit to really scan the planet for resources. And it's interesting, like previously you could just have a perfect scanner just right away. Now it's like, oh yeah, you can send the service module to go and check up and get more accurate readings, which is quite nice. So you can have Curiosity drive around Duna and just be like, yep, we are gonna science all the things. Which is quite fun. Unfortunately, I think, yeah, no, this launch went actually went quite well. So we don't have to spend too long in orbit to try and get the best orbit that we can. I do try to make like the lowest separation range that we can, so that we get as close as possible, which actually gets me into a little bit of trouble at some point. Turns out that all that stuff, that sort of got my periapsis below 70 kilometers. It wasn't dramatic or anything. Yep, there we go. It's on camera right now. We are not in space anymore technically. We're in the upper bits of the atmosphere. So I'm trying to point outwards radially to increase my periapsis a bit so we can get back into space faster. Which ruined the intercept that I had planned. But then I do an accidental burn, which actually gets me closer to like 1.9 kilometers. But it lowers my periapsis again, so I end up settling for like a 2 kilometer separation. Which, still better than before. And we're coming up on that now. Unfortunately, I do end up making one mistake at some point. I'm gonna leave it in, just so you guys can see what happens. But basically what happened is I sent this module up without any probes on the refinery itself. It's all riding shotgun on the lifting stage that we have. Unfortunately, in the middle of flight, I didn't quite realize that. My mind was like, okay, we are now close enough. Let's slow ourselves down using RCS. We're gonna transfer RCS from the lifter stage into the main stage that we want to dock. Then we're gonna detach. And everything will be wonderful. See, I did a quick save. You saw me thinking about it. And I quickly realized, like, oh crap, the probe's on there, not on here. At this point it's too late though. We've already separated, so I think about like sending the spacecraft around, and it's a little bit wobbly. Of course, because it's a giant spaceship, you know? You don't just send that around and do nothing. So instead I decide, you know what, screw this, I'm gonna load the quick save. And this is something I am really proud of. I'm gonna slow it back down to like 3 times speed in a little bit. Right now you're watching at 5 times speed because this took a lot of time. 3.5 hours compressed into a 40-minute video. But what basically happened is we fly perfectly pointing at the rear here. And this is the best bit of like parking that I've ever done. Just look at this. We're back to 3 times speed as of now. And we're gonna carefully slot in. Takes me a little bit of figuring out like, hey, this exactly that and that. Just, you know, getting my hang on the RCS. And then it's like, yep, okay, we're gonna do this the pro way. We are gonna make the Starship Voyager complete. Okay, then there we go. We are about to dock, and it's gonna be going back to past me now. Well, Jesus Christ, that last docking was the best one by far, in my opinion. Just slotting in like that and just slowly going in. Well, slowly. You guys saw it at like 4 times speed or something. I'm not entirely sure yet. But yeah, this is past me before I start recording all the commentary over the speed ups, etc. So it's gonna be future me, and then it's gonna be past me, and it's gonna be back to future me, and then it's gonna be the me. The actual me, the present me. Oh, this isn't confusing at all, isn't it? Look at those radiators, dear lord. They are huge. But they will help cool us down when we start doing all the stuff here. Unfortunately, we're missing ore right now, so we're not getting anything. Just perfect. Anyway, we're gonna quickly take all the stuff that's in here. And we're gonna steal it. Except for like 5 units or something. I can't tell that the lag has gotten quite a bit worse in all of this, which is unfortunate, but then again I totally get it. This is quite a large craft. Are we draining it to like 5 units? There we go. Then we're gonna take your fuel, except we're gonna take it, not give it back to you. There we go, that's more like it. So it has no fuel left, it has barely any things. We're gonna get Bill out again. And then before we end this episode proper, we're gonna attach some explosives to it. Hell yeah. And then we're gonna make sure that we don't leave any debris, because it doesn't have any parachutes. We could try and save it, but honestly, let's try and leave less projects for us to clean up in the future. We'll be getting Bill to do the attaches. Right, we had to drag it. And then we're too far away right now, unfortunately, so we're gonna have to get all the way down there. That should do it. Attach it like that, there we go. And then we fly all the way back here, and then we're gonna attach the next one. Attach it, there we go. Set it up with 40 seconds. We should be able to trigger it from the probe itself. I'm not entirely sure. So I will keep Bill out here as a manual backup. We're not going to blow him up. That's why we're setting the timers that much higher. Now we're going to build it, come to a halt. There we go. I like the nice little touch on the scanner. It slows down, comes to a halt. We've got our best antenna that money can buy. The one thing I want to check is that we... Ah yes, we have energized the probe. Okay, time to decouple it. Our ship just got a whole lot lighter. Okay, well that's the bad news. The good news is that it's not going to be anywhere near our craft when it's going to explode. So what I might do is I might lower the fuse a little bit to 20 seconds. Set up. You're going to be 30. Actually, you're going to be 20. We fly far enough away and we're not going to be able to trigger you anymore. That's fine. And then you are going to be 10. We're going to activate the back one first, then we're going to flee as quickly as we can. Then we're going to get back to our ship and hang out over there. Crap, this slowing down is going to kill us. Alright, Bill, get to safety. Cool bills do look at explosions. Bloody worth it. So with that, on that bombshell, we're gonna end the episode. Look at our beautiful spaceship. I am so goddamn proud of this, I swear to God. But yeah, if you liked the video, then please do leave a like down below. It really does help out the channel. If you want to see more people see this awesome craft, I might post some pictures on Twitter later, after this episode is done and recorded, and all uploaded, etc. So yeah, go and check those out. Twitter.com/Derpdigital. Sweet plugs. Yeah, comment, like, share, all that stuff really does help out the channel. And until next time, have a good one, folks.